come across many different races and tribes across the various Zelda games, but if you look really closely, he's ever so slightly leaning back when talking to some of them. Is it because they have bad breath? I want to know. So I'm getting to the truth today as I use cold hard science to figure out which Zelda group would have the worst breath. But I'm not just going to be theorizing. I'm going to be putting it to the test by eating these characters' diets and having my friend Beverlee rate my breath. Before we get to that though, we have to look at what actually causes bad breath. Obviously, there are things other than food that can lead to halitosis, or bad breath. Tobacco products, certain medications, health conditions, etc. But for today's purposes, I'm only focusing on how different foods and drinks can affect your breath. When you eat certain foods and have bad breath later, you're not just smelling the physical food remnants left in your teeth or something. Instead, there are two major causes of bad breath: bacteria in the mouth producing volatile sulfur compounds from breaking down protein residues, which can be worsened by dry mouth from dehydrating foods and drinks, or by sugary foods that promote bacterial growth, and odorous compounds from certain foods or metabolic states that enter the bloodstream and are exhaled through the lungs. So for that first cause, the name of the game is bacteria. Foods that are likely to cling to your teeth and tongue or get stuck in between your teeth are going to increase your chances of bad breath due to bacteria feeding on them, especially high protein foods like meats or dairy. But we also want to watch out for anything that causes dehydration or decreased saliva production, as a dry mouth prevents odor compounds from being naturally washed away. Sugary foods can also contribute by promoting bacterial growth. There are a few Zelda races that I can think of off the top of my head that consume somewhat high protein diets, but Hylians in particular have dairy in their food pyramids, so I'm interested in seeing how that affects things. Regarding the second cause, several foods and metabolic states can affect your breath during the digestion process. For example, garlic and onions contain volatile sulfur compounds that both linger in your mouth and enter your bloodstream, get picked up by your lungs, and are then exhaled. And then there's ketosis, a metabolic state where your body starts burning fat for energy because it's not receiving enough carbs to burn instead. While in ketosis, your body converts fat cells into three types of ketones, one of which is acetone. Your body doesn't need this acetone, so it releases it through various methods, your breath being one of them. Commonly known as keto breath, this can be overly fruity smelling or similar to nail polish remover, though it's mostly apparent in significant or sustained ketosis. I also feel like it's important to stress that I am most definitely not endorsing any particular diet in this video. Always follow a trusted doctor's orders and be sure to get enough fuel for your body, please. Do not imitate the YouTuber whose diet is in part made up of views. I can't help but think that the Gorons could potentially have keto breath from a lack of carbs, since they mainly eat rocks. And when researching volatile sulfur compounds, my mind immediately jumped to all the times I've talked about lava and volcanoes being filled with sulfurous gases, and Gorons do eat lava as well. However, that really depends on how close to the source they're getting. If they're going into a volcano and scooping up that lava and downing it fresh, or eating rock roast at the source, sure, that would contain dissolved sulfuric gases and potentially contribute to a sulfuric quality to their breath. But as soon as these were taken into the air, most of the gases would have escaped. But there are more things that can contribute to bad breath. Fish, especially marine fish, can cause your gut to produce a chemical called trimethylamine, which smells like fish at lower concentrations and similar to ammonia in high concentrations. For some people, other foods like eggs, liver, legumes, and dairy can contribute as well. Obviously, when I think of eating fish, I think of tribes like the Zora, so I would imagine their breath would be in trouble here. There are foods that combat bad breath too. Anything that promotes hydration or long-term saliva production will help in washing away food residue and bacteria, and certain crunchy textures, like the kinds found in raw fruits and vegetables, can also act as a sort of natural toothbrush by physically scraping off food from your teeth or tongue. So even though I mentioned Hylians having dairy in their diets, they also have plenty of vegetables, so things may just even out. But like I said, I'm not satisfied just theorizing about it. I want to put it to the test. So I've decided to conduct a real-life experiment to see how these musings hold up to reality. Now obviously, this isn't going to be the perfect test, but also, setting up the perfect test would be impossible. My breath is affected by what time of day it is, what I've eaten the day before, or even what day of my menstrual cycle it is. More importantly, I can't, or won't, live on these diets, and I'm not half fish, rock, bird, or anything else. So we simply must do the best we can with reasonable parameters. So here's how this is gonna work. Step 1, I floss and brush my teeth and tongue. It doesn't get me to a perfect neutral, but it keeps the starting point consistent throughout every meal. Step 2, I eat a meal that represents a good portion of that group's diet. Obviously, I'm not gonna eat every single thing that appears across every game, but I will do my best to hit the main points and cover the span of food types from the respective diets. Step 3, I will do an immediate breath test. I read that the most effective method of administering this test on oneself is to lick your wrist, wait about a minute until the saliva dries, and then smell your wrist. Step 4, for the next 3 hours, I cannot eat or drink anything else aside from water. And I will be drinking water. There's no indication that any of the races are inherently dehydrated, and I don't wish to be either. During this time, I'll also wear a mask so that Beverlee can't smell my breath ahead of time. She also won't know what I've just eaten, and nothing will be prepared in her vicinity so that she's not swayed by the smell of the food. Step 5, at the end of 3 hours, Beverlee will smell my breath, rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, and give her best description of what it smells like. Then we rinse and repeat for the next meal. Ideally, I would also get a check-in somewhere in the 6 to 12 hour range to study the long-term effects as well, but I have a life. Okay, Beverlee has a life. A 3-hour window will have to do. But the question remains of which of the Zelda tribes' diets should be put to the test. There are tons of groups in the Zelda games whose diets are a pretty big mystery to us, where I think there's just not enough proof in the games to piece together what specific things they eat, or if they eat anything at all. Groups like the Magmas, the Wind Tribe, Ukas, and Twilight likely all eat something, but their diets aren't fleshed out enough in the games to speculate properly, whereas other groups like the Ancient Robots, Scarecrows, and even the Kokiri likely don't eat anything at all. The Kokiri are the children of the Great Deku Tree, either in a magical, biological kind of way or in a culty kind of way. Hard to tell. They supposedly evolved into the Koroks after the Great Flood, so I'm not really sure how anything works with them. But their ties to the Great Deku Tree make them an ageless race, and with all this ageless tree magic coursing through their veins, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't need to eat either. They might just photosynthesize for all I know. Point is that they fall under the same umbrella as many of the different groups that I don't feel there's enough proof of their diets either way. Then there are some groups where their diet is pretty spelled out, but I can't really replicate it. For instance, the Subrosians from Oracle of Seasons eat lava soup, or the Deku Scrubs in Echoes of Wisdom are shown to enjoy smoothies and what they call cotton candy, which is actually spider webs. No. But I also don't think the Deku Scrubs would make for a good contender in my breath experiment, even if we're only considering the smoothie part, because I'm pretty sure they don't have tongues. What's weird is that they do describe things as sweet and tasty, but you don't need a tongue to taste things. You just need taste receptors. Butterflies taste with their feet, octopi taste with their tentacles, crabs have taste buds in their throats, and catfish actually have taste buds all over their body. You get the point. So Deku Scrubs might have taste receptors that are elsewhere. Now, as we learned previously, tongues aren't the only thing that contribute to how one's breath smells, and it's highly possible that Deku Scrubs have lungs, considering they can blow air bubbles and can't stay underwater. But the problem is that I do have a tongue, which will affect my breath in a way that will alter the results. Add that to the fact that I'm not eating cobwebs, and it means there's really no way to accurately include Deku Scrubs in the experiment, so they're out. Despite having to eliminate a ton of groups in advance, there are plenty of groups I feel I have a pretty good grasp on, and it's thanks to one game that came along and added a huge emphasis on food that previous Zelda games just didn't have, and that's Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom really took it to a whole new level with their world building, which included introducing a vast variety of foods and a peek into regional specialties. It's for that reason that a good amount of the footage you'll see today comes from those games. They were the most precise in fleshing out each tribe's diets. It's because of this that I feel the best groups to examine today are the Hylians, the Zora, the Rito, the Yiga, the Gerudo, the Gorons, and the wild card from outside of the Breath of the Wild series, the Anouki. I thought about including the Sheikah, but they seem to fall a little too much under the umbrella of Hylians, seeming to eat very similarly, if not more simplistically. And the Zonai also probably ate very similar diets as well, so there's not much of a point including them when there's a more extreme example already in there with the Hylians. So now that we have our system, our candidates, and our guinea pig, let's get right into the experiment, starting with the Hylians. The Hylians' diets most closely resemble our societies in that they have an abundance of different types of foods at their disposal, and I think Hateno Village probably best reflects this. They have plenty of animals and livestock, several farms with various kinds of veggies, they sell an abundance of goods in their shops, and Hateno in particular is known for its cheese, which is something we're not going to see a lot of in the others' diets. So I tried to make sure that the variety of the Hylian diet was represented in their respective meal. Since we had wheat, tomatoes, and cheese to work with, and the cheese shop conveniently featured a pizza recipe, I happily welcomed the chance to check all those ingredients off with a good old slicer. The complexity of a pizza recipe didn't bother me because most of the Hylian households in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have intricate kitchen setups and jars of what I'm assuming are pantry staples like flour and seasonings and whatnot. So I joyfully scarfed down my pizza and lived my best Mary-Kate and Ashley life, blissfully ignorant of the food horrors that awaited me in future meals.
Whipped cream pouring like waterfalls!
But we also can't forget the produce. After all, this incredibly suspect man stresses the importance of daily Hateno veggies in such a way that I can almost overlook him eating dirty carrots horizontally in a dark corner by lantern light. So I made sure to be just as paranoid eating my carrot to get the closest experience without losing my dignity. To represent their pumpkins, I got some canned pumpkin puree, which honestly made up for the lack of dirt on my carrot because it tasted a little too much like dirt for my liking. Really not as good as you would think. Gritty too. Would I have liked to roast a pumpkin shell for this? Yes, but I'm a busy gal, so this was the best I could do for the time being. I finished the produce off with an apple to represent the apple orchards. Among those orchards, you can find eggs, so I included a hard-boiled egg in my meal. And in this case, the egg came before the chicken, because I also had a chicken leg since they had those little fellers too. Did y'all get my chicken before the egg joke? Or I finished it all off with a nice glass of milk, since after all, they advertise the milk they sell in the store as being fresh from the Hateno cows and goats. But that is a cow on the front, so I opted for cow's milk. I didn't have any beef with this meal, simply because they didn't have any meat in the town or as an ingredient in any recipe around town, so I'm assuming they're just dairy cows. Time to do the lick test and see how immediately offensive my breath is, where I lick my wrist to let it dry for about a minute and then give it a sniff. And honestly, it wasn't nearly as offensive as I was prepping myself for. I could smell that I had just eaten. It wasn't entirely neutral, but I definitely wasn't pulling back from the smell at all, so I'll give it a 3. 3 hours later, and it was time to go to Beverlee's to see what she thinks.
Baby, where the hell's my husband? Now my glass is fogging up.
So crazy.
Okay, I have Beverlee here with me, my science partner in crime, emotional support human, Shakespeare extraordinaire, improv extraordinaire, D&D extraordinaire. God, what else? What else? The list goes on. You make a mean mocktail, which I'm so sad. Honestly, one of the meals, it needs a mocktail. I know, I'm heartbroken, but that's not help. I know, that's not what we're doing today though. We are on test number 1. I have eaten my first meal 3 hours ago. Ignore my glasses fogging up just constantly, it's because of the mask. Beverlee was not there when I made or ate the meal. I've been wearing this so she cannot smell my breath, and we're gonna get a first reading. I'm very nervous because this is a nightmare. I don't want to have, I hate the fact that this is embarrassing.
All day I've been like, can't wait to smell Anna's breath tonight.
Oh God, don't think of me poorly when you start smelling.
I won't, because this is an experiment. You're science today, you're not Anna. And to clarify, the scale is 1 to 10, 10 being the grossest.
10 being the grossest. We're gonna get a rating and then a descriptor.
Okay.
All right, Beverlee. This feels like a bigger reveal than it should be. A perfectly neutral breath. Here we go.
Okay.
I hate this. I hate this. Now here we go.
Give me a second.
A second breath?
Yeah.
I thought you meant a second to recover.
No.
Did the ridiculousness just hit you of what we're doing?
5. No, it was already here.
Pretty neutral?
I'm getting like onion. This is insane. It's so interesting because like the first thing that hits you is warm because of a body.
Sure.
Because it comes out of a body.
I mean, I can do a cooler breath, but I feel like you won't actually get the smell if I do like a, that would be a cool breath, but you won't smell as much. I can try.
Yeah, to me, it's giving big, like, fried crunchy onions.
Fried crunchy onions. Okay. I think I've had the same mouse up there.
No, you gave that to me. We've had this conversation.
Oh, nice! That makes a lot of sense then. You can't just live in my breath.
He lives in me. Definitely something fried.
Interesting. I might know what that's a note of, maybe.
Okay.
Okay. Should we...
Do you want any more mouth before I go?
I don't know what that means!
I meant, do you need me to take another taste?
Another taste! Let's get out of here! Let's get out of here!
If I had to guess, even though this meal included protein, egg, and cheese, I think it was likely cushioned by the apple and the carrot, considering those are the types of raw fruits and vegetables that we were talking about earlier that help fight bad breath. But now we have the Zelda race's diet that I was least looking forward to, the Zora. The Zora are kinda fishy, shark, sometimes sea monstery people, so it's unsurprising that they have a seafood-based diet. The main thing that all Zora eat are fish. Various kinds, but the easiest one that I could quickly get my hands on, and yes, eat raw, was salmon. To make sure it was the safest grade to eat raw, I went ahead and picked up some salmon nigiri and separated the salmon from the rest.
I'm now outside of Beverlee's home to eat my next meal in secret so she can't smell it. I'm working really hard to try not to prepare things, especially things that have to be hot. It's okay, I'm good, thank you. Like I was saying, I'm trying really hard not to prepare hot food or food that needs to be cooked in her place because then she can smell it, she can kind of know what I'm doing. So I'm eating outside.
As I've happened to mention a few times on this channel, I am really not a fan of seafood. I wish I was, it would make my life a lot easier, and yet, I have never been able to trick myself into liking it. but I don't have to like it to science it down my gullet. So I slurp down these slimy bad boys with a grimace on my face, and then turn to the other half of the meal, seaweed. The sea Zora and Echoes of Wisdom seem to enjoy bubble kelp, seeing as they sell this especially flavorful seaweed in the shop as their pride and joy, and have a plate of it in another area of the room. I don't especially mind seaweed, and it was definitely a welcome break from the fish. Then I was excited to have the genius and completely original idea to wrap the seaweed around the salmon to make it more tolerable, because that had never been done before. And it worked out alright, actually. What a hero I was for choking down nice sushi-grade salmon. One more interesting thing about the Zoras in Tears of the Kingdom is that they sell rice and Hylian tomatoes in their shop. But this feels like a total tourist sell. No one's convincing me that the Zoras are eating tomatoes, so I'm sticking to our strictly seafood diet. Alright, we got the lick test. Honestly, it's slightly hard to tell when the taste of fish is still on my tongue, but it was definitely more potent than the previous meal and was not very enjoyable, so I'll give it a 6. Time to mask up and see what Beverlee thinks in 3 hours.
Did we get a little lost in the blueprint sauce?
I
Yes.
started blueprints.
I forced it upon her, and I'll keep doing it until everyone in the world has played blueprints. But we have something far more pressing to get to. Beverlee,
Smell that breath.
smell that breath. Here we go. I haven't said anything leading either, by the way. This is okay. Natural
In
reaction.
blueprints or this.
I mean, true. I'm not a backseater.
Again. Oh, it's so much deeper. This one's like a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
This one's a 7 or an 8.
Let me give you a cool one. It's got to be both.
This is an 8.
Can I say I'm not surprised? I'm not surprised in the fucking slightest at this one. I was wearing my mask. I was like, I hate it in here.
You got it.
Any notes of anything?
I need to get the foot.
Terrible.
Terrible. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Foot and this is such like a wine thing, but like
Notes of. I'm getting notes of.
also apple. I don't know how or why.
Wow.
But yeah, this one was an A.
Okay.
This one's not great.
Next one.
Honestly, a better score than I was expecting, but I may have been a bit biased. Now on to the Rito. Now the Rito are an interesting bunch. First of all, they eat bird. That's right, in Breath of the Wild there's a Rito in Gerudo town who's bummed out that they're not selling any poultry. Now this isn't the most weird thing, considering that birds of prey that eat other smaller birds are a thing, but it was just rather shocking to see written out so plainly. It's just interesting. The bird people eat birds, fish people eat fish, rock people eat rocks. I'm just glad the Hylians don't follow suit. But we can learn more specific things that the Rito eat through Misa's recipe book that can be found in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, with slightly different recipes in each one. One that stood out as immediately being recreatable to me was the hot buttered apple, which just needed an apple and goat butter. And if you didn't think I was dedicated to this video already, I got my hands on some goat butter. I was really curious to see what the taste difference was between goat butter and cow butter, and it wasn't too different, definitely a bit more potent, and I was surprised that the goat butter almost had the taste of a mild cheese, like a Fontina or the cheese Baby Bells are made from. It was alright. So I cooked some apples in that goat butter, and boy howdy, it tasted far stronger than I anticipated. Really kinda hit me in waves. I would have preferred just a regular apple, but what can you do? Then things got a little complicated with the recipes. See, I was trying my best to get as close to the source meals as I could for this, but that proved to be difficult sometimes. Like, this nut cake sounded good, love a cake, but it used chickaloo tree nuts or the recommended acorns. And acorns, it's kind of a whole thing. You gotta shell them and soak them for days. There's a reason we don't really eat them. You can also get acorn flour, but then there's the question of how much all of the other ingredients you use alongside that to make a cake would compromise the integrity of a simple nut cake. So I decided to skip that one. Then fish pie seemed straightforward enough, but I could not find a single place that served fish pie in LA. I found one Irish pub that had them, but they closed down. I'm not saying it's because they serve fish pie, but awfully big coincidence. And then when I looked at the recipes for fish pie, I came across the same issue of them having so many ingredients that it barely felt like the simplistic Zelda recipe anymore. So here's what I did. I noticed that fried bananas were also in the recipe book. So it's not perfect, I know, but I figured, okay, let's do a regular banana and then a fried fish. We get the banana, we get the fried, we get the fish. Not perfect, but probably the least number of excess ingredients. I only had about half a banana because I knew what was to come for the next meal, and then I thought if I was gonna like any of the fish on the journey, fried fish would have had the best chance of winning me over. And I was pleasantly surprised by the first bite. Probably because I like fried stuff, and I got mostly crust, because the second bite is really when the fish hit. Oh, there it is. Don't know how y'all do this. We do our lick test, where I was reminded once again of my fishy nemesis, and we're gonna give that a 6. To Beverlee.
Get that
clearing
sniffer
I'm
one
clearing
out my airways. Yeah, get some fresh air first.
Okay.
Before the tragedy that is my breath coming
Yeah,
at you.
I have to palate cleanse.
All right, first normal hot breath.
Normal hot breath. What the hell?
Oh no! My biggest nightmare talking to people is that reaction. I'm really going through some trauma making this video. Not as much as you, but I'm going through something. Hey, you want another?
Yeah,
You have
I just the reaction is because I don't know what I just smelled. And then I'll give you a cool breath just to keep it even. Okay,
Here's the cool
I'm having
one.
a strange sense memory.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The clasped hands of uncomfortable.
I want to give it an 8, but do I need to make it different?
You don't need to make it different.
My instinct is 8.
I mean,
but
your
looking at-
reaction was
I know,
stronger than
so
an
much
8.
stronger.
Could it be an 8 point
Yeah, like
something?
give me another. I keep saying taste, but
Is the cool breath or the hot?
the cool breath actually I get
You
more
get
flavor
more. Okay,
profile.
okay.
I'll be 9.
Are you only saying that because you feel like you have to make it different?
No, it was like a stronger feeling.
Yeah.
It smells like unbrushed teeth. No offense.
I mean,
but that's
the past 3
no,
hours.
but that's a standard. Like
Yeah.
you haven't done it for
Yeah.
either of them, so
Yeah.
I don't know what that actual flavor is. I don't know. There's like an onioniness to it. There's like an Italian foodiness to it, but that's all I got. Like I really can't place what this smell is.
Okay, that's fine.
Give me another.
Indescribably bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah. All right. Are you officially 9 is your score? Do you want to
9.
8 point something?
No, I'm gonna go with 9.
Okay. All right. It's official. 9. Next meal.
Wow, this one really surprised me that it was that high up there. I mean, yes, we have the protein from the chicken and the trimethylamine from the fish, but interesting, the apple didn't soften the blow at all in this one. I wonder if it was because it was cooked in goat butter, which softened it and changed the texture so that it didn't have the same physical cleaning effects. I do think that the biggest culprit was probably the fried fish, which is interesting because white pollock is a leaner fish than salmon and therefore should affect the breath less when compared one-on-one, but the fried part introduces more fats and oils, which can coat your tongue and teeth, leading to increased bacteria activity, as well as slowing down digestion, leading to more opportunity for odor-producing compounds to form. But it's definitely still an interesting result. And now we're gonna go in a completely different direction with our next group. And I know I said that Sheikah were going under the Hylian umbrella, but there's one cult of ex-Sheikah that have a very different diet from the Hylians, and that's the Yiga clan. As one may assume from walking around their hideout, the Yiga are big banana people. I love these little banana-crazed freaks. Now, they might eat other things, considering they'll begrudgingly pick up other fruit besides bananas if you throw them, but bananas are their real bread and butter, pardon the pun, and I can't prove that they eat anything else. They may have utensils and whatnot, but you can do a lot of innovative things with a banana in the kitchen. Alright, so tonight, my dinner is bananas, which I'm not too bothered by, since bananas are probably one of my favorite fruits. 3 bananas is a lot of bananas, though, but I'm much happier eating bananas than fish.
Look how pretty. Beverlee has a little lantana in her yard. Aren't those pretty? Aw.
1 banana down the hatch, 2 more to go. By the 3rd banana, I was really done eating bananas. Lick test was maybe a bit worse than one might think pure bananas would cause, but not the most offensive, so after much deliberation, I gave it a 4.5. Time for the Beverlee test.
All right, let's do it. No need for preamble at this
Let
point.
me get some fresh air over here.
Okay.
Sorry.
Start with a nice hot
It's definitely more vegetal. I don't know how.
one. What does vegetal mean?
Like
vegetable?
Vegetable based.
Okay. That's 2.
Maybe fishy. Can I get some?
A cool one for the nerves. Oh. Both of us. No. What was that noise?
7.
Oh. How
7.
interesting.
It's not good.
Okay. And vegetal.
Yeah, it's definitely coming out more fish this time.
But that's not the same thing as vegetal. You switched from vegetal to fish?
Yeah, when it was hot, it was vegetal. When it's cold, it's fish. I want to say 7. It's not terrible. It's like hint of something like living, proteiny, but a lot of vegetables too.
If this person were talking to you in your face, would you be like, I can continue talking to them, no problem? Or would you be like, after 5 minutes, like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom?
I'd be like, oh, it's a little smelly, but it's not that big an issue.
Okay. 7.
Dang, maybe the real reason the Yiga wear masks is to hide their stank breath. But enough of them, because it's time to move on to the Gerudo. The Gerudo seem to have just about as many foods as the Hylians, with kitchens and full-on cooking classes, so we're about to have a feast here. But a feast was necessary, since I knew what my next meal was gonna be. We'll get to that later. But first, we need to narrow our list down to things that have a pretty clear ingredient list. Let's start with the fruits. We have a palm fruit, a hydromelon, and a volt fruit, which is unsurprising considering the town's specialty is a drink called the Noble Pursuit, which uses those 3 ingredients plus rock salt. All these fruits have a real-world equivalent based on their appearance. The palm fruit is a coconut, the volt fruit is a dragon fruit, and the hydromelon is in fact a watermelon, even though it's actually orange on the inside. And orange watermelons exist in real life. Now, unfortunately, it's not watermelon season, so I was unable to get an orange watermelon from anywhere. But orange watermelons are often described as tasting a lot like red watermelon, but with a less acidic, mildly tropical flavor with a honeyed sweetness. Now, I can't get rid of a red watermelon's acidity, but I can cut it down and introduce a honeyed sweetness with a little bit of honey. So in our meal, we're gonna have watermelon, dragon fruit, and unsweetened coconut flakes. It's also not coconut season. And then for the Noble Pursuit, we'll add a little bit of honey, use coconut milk instead of flakes to keep it smooth, and add a pinch of salt as well. It turned out pretty well. You did have to chew it a bit due to the dragon fruit seeds, and you mainly tasted watermelon and the sweetness of the coconut milk. The watermelon by itself was unsurprisingly delicious, since it's one of my favorite fruits. I probably should have used a fork to eat the dragon fruit, since it turns out it's kind of slimy like a kiwi, but tasted of pretty much nothing, shockingly. Just barely a taste. Like, the perfect descriptor of a dragon fruit is that it's the radish of fruits, but it feels like a kiwi. It's strange. The coconut was also delicious, though it took me 843 years to chew it. The Gerudos also sell roasted sea bass, which I fully believe they would eat as well. And do you know how expensive sea bass can get? I asked the guy at the fish counter what the smallest little portion he could cut off for me was, and he was like, I've never been asked that before. And then while he was cutting it, he asked what it was for, and I had to kind of embarrassingly explain that it was a project about how different foods affect your breath, and he was very nice and accommodating about the situation. So if you're the fish dude who liked to illustrate He-Man and you happen to stumble across this video, first of all, great job. It's wild that you found me on that description. But also thank you for saving my wallet with a very small cut of bass. Thank you. This was me praying that I've Stockholmed myself into liking fish by this point. I cooked the fish in goat butter for full authenticity, and it was probably the best fish I've had up until this point, but that might have been in large part due to the nice salt crust I gave it. It still tasted like fish, ultimately. Then Gerudos also have a variety of cooked steaks on hand. What type of meat the steaks are, hard to say. Could be sand seal, but it seems to be a red meat of some kind, so I got a steak and also cooked it in goat butter. Don't come at me for how well done it is. I followed the recipe, okay? And take notes, fish. This is how meat's supposed to taste. For the last thing on our menu today, the Gerudo both sell mushrooms and rice, and we can use these to make a mushroom risotto recipe that they have up on their walls. I'm not a huge fan of mushrooms, but down the hatch. And it was shockingly bad. Really mushroom forward. And every bite was an absolute nightmare.
Okay, look, I know at this point you're probably like, is there anything that Anna likes to eat? I'm not, it's just bad luck. I just don't like seafood or mushrooms. Like, this whole plate, this is amazing. Can't wait to eat the rest of this. I like, the steak was great. I like a lot of foods. I promise, it's just really bad luck. Am I a picky eater? I don't feel like I am. I just think that there are certain things that I don't like, and like, swarths, groups. I like food. No, I love food. That's why this experiment is so taxing on me mentally, because I'm replacing my beloved precious meals with these monstrosities of mushrooms and fish, and I'm eating them anyway. So have some graciousness with me.
Alright, so I finished up the full meal and performed the leg test. And this was the worst one yet for me. But what's weird is that there was this twinge of sweetness to it that made it not really unbearable, so it got a confused 6.5 from me. But let's see what Beverlee thinks.
Dawn of the third day. 24 hours remain. Let's just get to it at this point. All right. First breath. Just a tiny. I know you probably don't want to right now, but
No, give it to me again. Oh,
yeah, strong. Strong, huh?
strong but subdued.
Ooh. Cool breath. Ready?
Okay. Interesting. 6?
Okay.
It's honestly not bad. It really reminds me of those little fried things with seaweed on the back that I get from a Thai market of all places.
Fried things with seaweed on the back. I'm assuming I'll put a picture up when I find it. The multiple names to it.
Fennel?
Oh!
Like
Fennel?
this one is smelling more like things I'm interested in eating. Of all things.
Oh! Fennel is something you're interested. We can get you some fennel, Bev.
I eat fennel a lot.
Yes.
I'm not
Okay.
saying I'm hungry for it. I'm saying it's something I enjoy eating.
Fascinating. Fennel.
Yeah,
So
6.
it's herby?
Yeah, herbaceous.
Herbaceous. Herbaceous, dude. Can we make that a thing?
It is a thing.
Nice. Look around you. It's a thing.
It's here. Some of the other flavors have been like, this
Yeah.
is the flavor, this
Yeah.
is a simmer. More sweet than spicy for sure. There's a savory element, but it's like a rounded savoriness.
Wow.
This is fascinating.
What a pro.
Not what I expected.
I also, okay, now that I'm done,
Yeah.
today was mocktail day.
Really?
You want to try it?
Oh my god,
Okay,
yes!
Hold tight. I can get it. I can grab it real quick.
Drinks, of course! The one that's like a cocktail's the one I was like, I kinda like this one. From the nose alone,
Okay.
that's watermelon, baby.
Yeah, I mean.
But I honestly thought it was gonna be dragon fruit from these little seeds, but maybe it
Sure.
still is. Okay.
Do you like it? Is it good?
It's
What would
good.
you add to it?
It needs lime.
Okay.
It needs lime so hard, but like, I have lime. Do you want me to squirt it in here? You want to try it?
I can't taste it. I can't
You
do
don't
it right
brush your teeth?
now.
All right, fine.
No.
That's fair. For science.
For science.
Well, let me squirt it in for myself.
Okay, next.
Alright, roughly middle of the pack. I would say this is maybe due to the sugar in all of the fruit perhaps amplifying the intensity of the breath, but at the same time somewhat cutting through it with a sweetness that was very odd to place. Maybe the coconut milk too. Like I bought unsweetened coconut milk, but there's still an inherent sweetness to it. And I thought it was hilarious how both Beverlee and I had the initial reaction of, whoa, followed by, well? It was very Brittany Broski. But now we're on to by far the most intense one on the list, the Gorons. And if you think I'm eating rocks, you're right. Yeah, there's a reason I had a big meal earlier. But first, let's look at everything the Goron eat over the various games and see what we're working with. In Oracle of Seasons, Big Goron eats lava soup, which obviously isn't going to be possible for me. In Phantom Hourglass, it said that Gorons eat small wood hearts to grow into big Gorons, but the problem is, I have no idea what a wood heart is supposed to be. It's described as looking tasty and being sweet and yummy, but what is it? Spirit Track says it looks like a chestnut, but there's something special about it. And I'll say, this thing's huge! And then the inventory refers to it as an acorn. It's just all over the place. The game doesn't even know what this is. I'm gonna skip it. Spirit Tracks also notes that Gorons have fossilized amber as a treat, so we're 0 for 2 on Goron foods that I can eat from this game. We've got more vagueness with Goron Spice, and in Minish Cap, we've got Steel and Link's Shield that can be eaten. So, still nothing I can do here. Then we've got the rocks and minerals. Rock roast, for example, is in fact rocks, and while the Gorons don't really like gemstones as much, they will eat them. Now, as you might have guessed, humans can't eat rocks and metals. Well, most rocks and metals. So for my dinner tonight, I am having salt, gold, and mineral water. Yeah, I didn't poos out and eat rock candy. That's sugar, and it's different. Also, for full transparency's sake, in Twilight Princess, the Gorons also talk about enjoying a glass of milk after the hot springs. But here's the thing, I'm only ever conducting this experiment once, so I don't want to potentially taint it by throwing milk into the equation. I just want to know what just rocks and minerals does to your breath. Can you blame me? You're curious too. You don't want to know what milk breath smells like, you want to know what rock's breath smells like. So let's do it. The salt was admittedly tough to get down, even for a half-Dane who grew up on salty licorice. Luckily, my doctor told me I have low blood pressure, so I can eat salt like a porcupine and be a-okay. For the gold, I got edible gold leaf sheets. Silver would have worked too, but I thought just one of them would suffice.
Okay, look, the dichotomy between the last video where I said I felt too poor to even walk down Rodeo Drive and this video where I'm literally eating gold is not lost on me. It's ridiculous, but here we are. But honestly, these sheets of gold aren't actually that expensive. They're pretty cheap, but as a warning, they also sell gold flakes that are not edible. So don't just be going out and buying gold flakes all willy-nilly and eating them. I made sure this was edible, and it instantly melts. I don't know what the best way to eat this is, man. Oh no. I can't go back in there looking like I just got back from a night out with C-3PO. Fun fact, I've actually had edible gold before. I worked an event, a catering event, where they had like chicken wings covered in gold flakes. So of course, back in the kitchen, I snuck some wings. Of course I did. And it was not, this is honestly not as offensive. I remember it being like, I don't know, like tacky before. This is literally nothing. Like, it's nothing. It tastes like nothing. It feels like nothing. It's gone before I can process that it's hit my tongue. But yeah, the stuff on the wings, it was almost like sticky. Like, it didn't. I'd rather just eat chicken wings. But yeah, don't feel like you're missing out. This isn't like I don't know. It's not a this is really cheap. It doesn't taste like anything. You're not missing out if you haven't had gold.
The mineral water was more of a slug than I thought, because one, it was sparkling, I couldn't find any still mineral water, but more so because it tasted really salty. Could have been because of the salt I ate right before, but when I tasted normal water next to it, that didn't taste salty. So I don't know. Needless to say, it was a rough 3 hours. But at the end of the meal, I did the lick test, and not very surprisingly, it smelled of absolutely nothing at all. It just smelled like my skin. So it gets a 1 for immediate smell. I was endlessly curious to see what Beverlee thought after 3 hours, though.
All right, here we go.
I don't like it.
Breath number 2. Here comes more. Ready for cooling?
I'm ready. 8.
What's that smell?
I have no idea. 8, though.
Wow.
What is it? Come here.
Hey girl, come here.
I have no idea, but I don't like it.
Any descriptors?
I can't. Bad. Pungent, like vegetable. I'm like getting onion again, but I don't know how or why. Like baby bok choy, but like old.
Okay.
What is it?
Salt, gold, mineral water.
What?
It was salt. I ate salt and gold and mineral water.
Might just be you, bro. I'm so sorry.
No!
So sorry.
No, so but I mean it will affect your breath long term.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's why you're so hungry.
I'm really hungry.
Would you like a mini vegan pizza?
Am I a picky eater? I don't feel like I am.
Not even that. Not
Starved? No, I'll take whatever
I got
you
blueberries.
got. Ooh,
I got chips.
I'm going to eat mine.
So there could be various reasons why Beverlee had such a strong reaction. One is that even though I was staying relatively hydrated by drinking mineral water, the lack of physical chewing likely caused my body to produce less saliva, which is a key factor in fighting bad breath. The salt initially spikes saliva production due to the taste, but that pretty quickly goes back to baseline and then even pulls moisture from the mouth. Another reason could be that my body, as a result of not eating a lot and being really hungry as a result, may have entered the early stages of ketosis. Although this would have been slight, the ketones could have caused a bit of a metallic sour or off smell. Finally, it's possible that with not much actual food to smell, she might have been partially smelling the 6 to 9 hour digestion process of the previous meal. Maybe all 3 of these things are what led to the high score. It's hard to tell. On to our final Zelda race, and probably the least known one on our list today, the Anouki. The Anouki are little penguin reindeer people hybrids that live in snowy villages and spirit tracks in Phantom Hourglass. Their diets are pretty easy to suss out, considering they have a cauldron of stew cooking in many of the houses, and the village chief even has a line about the villagers being able to sip their savory stew in peace. Now the chief also does seem to be offering some type of food or something at a shrine in his place, but they're so low poly that I can't tell if they're supposed to be oranges or pumpkins or orange bell peppers or what. And they might be purely for offering a sacrifice, I don't know. Another disclaimer is that one Anouki in Spirit Track says he loves a good banana, but considering it's just one dude and none of them have bananas in their houses or around town or anything, maybe they just picked up a banana while traveling one time, which wouldn't count. Or maybe they're a Yiga clan member in disguise. Or maybe I just forgot to include a banana in the meal. Regardless, it's pretty dang clear that this is a tribe of seafood and stew lovers. It proved to be trickier than I thought to imitate this, though. The 3 types of stew we see are a crab stew, a starfish stew, and a seaweed or kelp stew, none of which I could readily find anywhere. So I decided I would have to make my own stew, and went with the most recognizable one, crab. Now this appears to be a cream-based stew, going by the color of it, so I found a recipe for a cream-based crab stew that used as few ingredients as possible and went to work. Even though I didn't suspect I would like crab very much, I was hopeful that the taste would be masked by the other ingredients in the stew, and boy was I wrong. This tasted so amazingly bad. In an act of desperation, I had to employ the emergency plugging up the nose technique to get down more of the bowl. To also represent the seaweed stew, I happily returned to my seaweed sheets as well, but it couldn't undo what had been done. It didn't really reflect in the immediate breath test. I gave it a 5, but those next 3 hours were so foul. But let's see if Beverlee has an equally bad experience.
It's the final day! Smell my breath!
No.
So I can do
released from this hellscape. How did my mask get around my glasses? First breath. Just get the second one over it.
What in the heck? Why is it so rubbery?
Here's the cool one.
Yeah, it's like, it's bad, but it's not overpowering. I want to say 8, because it is bad. It's like rubber and rotten food.
Rubber and rotten food gets an 8.
But
you
not
were waiting.
like-
You were holding out for me to eat roadkill.
But not
These
like
days.
rotten. You know what I mean?
Just a little rotten. Just a little rotten.
just fermented, like compost. But not strong like compost. Give it to me again. Yeah, it's weird, but it's not crazy.
I'm gonna be upfront. For me, mouth feel wise right now,
Mouthfeel.
like mouth essence, because I don't know if I can say taste. I guess I can say taste. I still taste it. It's killing me. I want to eat something else so badly.
It's not that bad to sniff her.
It's a crab stew and
Yeah.
seaweed, and I just wanted to like.
It's not bad.
I want to jump in a sewer where I belong right now. I'm gonna eat so many other things after this. I'm so excited.
55 hot dogs. 55 hot dogs.
Beverlee! We did it!
Come here, friend. Come closer.
I need you to not think of me as Mrs. Stinky Breath,
Okay.
because I'm not married.
I'll stop calling you that to my friends. All
Just
right.
Miss. Thank you
Just
so
Miss.
much. Mrs. Stinky Breath is my father. Thank you. You gotta plug your stuff. If the people want to check you out, and if you've been watching the series, why wouldn't you want to check out Beverlee? Where could they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at the Beverlee, and my name is spelled with a lot of E's as well. You'll figure it out.
So many E's. If you're when in doubt, just put a couple
Just
more
put
E's
more
in
E's
there.
in. I have a feature film that you can rent on Amazon Prime, or you can watch on Tubi called Love at First Spite.
Go! It's in the description. Click the link. It's
That's
so
it.
easy. Beverlee, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you
My
for
pleasure.
enduring this.
What a saga.
What a saga.
Well, we officially have the final results of our experiment, and here's what I found. Starting with who has the worst short-term breath, here's who you wouldn't want to sit next to in the lunchroom. The Gerudo are the leaders of the pack, followed closely by the Zora and Rito, and considering the Anouki are next, I would fully believe that the fish in each of their diets are a big part of why they play so highly. Next, you've got the Yiga clan, though at this point we're under a 5, so it wouldn't really be all that offensive breath anyway, followed by the Hylians, and finally, you likely wouldn't be bothered by the Gorons munching on metal and rocks at all. At least not scent-wise. Mentally, I don't know. In the long term, things switch up though. The Rito bump up to the number 1 slot, followed by a 3-way tie between the Zora, Anouki, and Gorons. It's even possible that the Gorons might actually be higher in a real-world scenario, considering the potential sulfuric gases in some of their foods that I couldn't eat, and the fact that ketosis breath is a long-term thing that I couldn't replicate in this experiment. Following these groups, you have the Yiga once again in the 5th place spot, and the Gerudo jumping from 1st to 6th. So you might not want to stand right next to him after a meal, but give it a couple hours and it's not really a problem anymore. And finally, the Hylians likely have the least offensive breath long term. But how about overall? Which group, once we add together the short term and the long term, have the worst breath? Let's start in last place. The most tolerable breath overall goes to the Hylians. I would wager that their fresh fruits and veggies really saved them in the end. Next, we have the Gorons. Again, take this with a grain of salt, pun intended, since we could only examine the first 3 hours of post-eating effects. Solidly in 5th place, we have the Yiga. Don't eat a diet of bananas, kids, regardless of what it does to your breath. In 4th place, we have the Gerudo. The abundance of protein might be good for keeping their 8-packs, but that and all the sugar might not be the best for their breath. Moving on to the top 3, in 3rd place, we have the Anouki. Though to be honest, I would probably rather eat the diets of the top 2, bad breath aside. I'll never forget that crab stew. Our 2nd place runner-up for worst breath are the Zora. Though I am curious if the fishiness of the breath only bothers humans, or if other fish-eating Zora would also be like, whew. Regardless, the Zora were who I thought would have the worst breath prior to the experiment. But the group in 1st place who actually hold that title are the Rito. My best analysis of this is that they have the protein in the chicken and the fish, the trimethylamine from the fish, the coating fats and oils of the butter and fried aspects of the food, and the sugar from the fruit without the crunchy texture that would normally help bad breath by physically scraping off the other foods. But it really doesn't come as any surprise to me that the top 4 groups with the overall worst breath all ate seafood as a big part of their diets. It wasn't just my bias either. Beverlee doesn't have anything against seafood. So please forward all emails to the sea. So here's where everyone ranks in all of the areas. But bad breath aside, if you had to pick one of these diets to live on, which would you choose? Are there any where the coolness of the village or villagers outweighs the breath you'd have to put up with? And if you like this analysis of the Zelda world, I have tons of other Zelda analysis videos worth checking out, like which Zelda village is best equipped to survive an apocalypse, or which tiers of the Kingdom stable would get 5 stars on Yelp. And of course, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss future ones. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go back to enjoying my regular and very normal diet of 12 packs of Ritz crackers and a Celsius. But I'll see you on the next one.
We're taking us out. Bye. Oh god.
Oh god, it's hard to do it too.
Wow, that was high. That was good.
Do it higher, ready?
Okay, yeah. Oh, later, idiots. I'm so sorry. we like you.
Goombanna is the wonder why she didn't come to play. Gaming vids that'll make you laugh and think and put them on replay. Intelligent, kind and funny, her community's #1. Stick around and kick your feet up. Goombanna has just begun.